What we're going to talk about today is how to grow your business with an e-procurement strategy. Anybody not know what Punch-Out is? Okay, good, because we're going to talk about that too. And how many of you are using any type of analytics to understand what your customers are buying and how you can target what you're selling to them? I'm here with Value Innovation Technologies. We're headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina. We help companies, large and small, to build e-commerce capabilities and big data analytics capabilities. We are a subsidiary of American Product Distributors. We are the technology arm of the company. We support over 100,000 end users. We build e-catalogs that those users shop from and customize them. We manage about 200 catalogs today and growing. And the average catalog size is about 25,000 SKUs. So that's the average. We have some catalogs that have far less than that. We have some catalogs that contain hundreds of thousands of items in it. I want to talk a little bit about some of the trends in procurement that are driving really this push for e-procurement. So the first thing, there was a survey that was done last year where I think it was 263 purchasing organizations were interviewed, and they talked about what they were looking to do in the coming year as relates to procurement and technology. 55% of them said that they currently feel like they have control over their spend. So what that tells me is 45% don't. 60% of them are planning to invest in procurement technology, training, or recruitment. So they're trying to find ways to get control, and they're willing to invest in it. And 27% said that they recognize that if they don't invest in those things, they're going to have some challenges with managing their spend. So one of the ways that a lot of these large organizations are trying to gain control over their spend is they're implementing, they have enterprise resource planning, or sometimes you'll hear them called ERP systems. They also have procurement platforms. They're called procure to pay or P2P, so you may see that term around. So some of the reasons that they're using that, they're using these systems, they're trying to drive cost reductions. So many of these systems have online RFP capabilities or online bidding. So they're using it on the front end to bring in new suppliers and solicit new contracts, but they're also using it to actually manage the purchase orders and the requisition process on the back end and have it integrated into their back end systems. It's become the industry standard to have one of these systems, so you're finding fewer and fewer companies that don't have one of these names in their organization. They're using it to drive demand with their end users. So they're trying to drive their end users to buy off of the contracts that they've negotiated instead of going out and purchasing down the street or paying more for something than the purchasing teams have negotiated. And they're also using it for forecasting, getting that information so they can see what did they purchase last year to plan for month by month or quarter or even for the next year. And then for organizations that have their own inventories, and maybe it's across multiple locations, they're using those systems to help them manage what they have in each of their facilities so that they don't overbuy. Larger organizations have thousands of employees. When you're trying to grow your business, if you want to really generate larger revenues, you want to start being able to go after these larger organizations, larger companies, large institutions, and they all have a ton of employees. Their purchasing teams are managing hundreds, sometimes even thousands of contracts. And within each of those contracts, there's an infinite number of products and services that their end users are able to buy as a result of those contracts. So you put all those together, and it's a lot that they're trying to manage, and that's why they're trying to get control. That's why you see 45% saying they don't feel like they have control yet. So one of the other global trends that's really everybody's talking about in business right now is big data. So we hear about it a lot on the retail side and the selling side. Companies like Walmart and Target and Staples. I even saw an article yesterday that said that Walmart is implementing technology on their shopping carts to track how you're moving around the stores and collecting that data to figure out how to make you buy more while you're in the store. Big companies are already using big data. What I want to talk about today is how we as smaller businesses can utilize those same types of ideas to grow your business as well. So a couple of statistics. So the Wall Street Journal did a survey earlier this year, and they said that nearly 2/3 of businesses in America have either already invested in big data or are planning to do so in the next year. So it's really getting a lot of attention in the business world. The two main reasons they said they want to use big data or invest in it is to be more efficient in their operations, and they're using it to find opportunities for cost reductions. And we talked about all these drivers on the procurement side. This is one of those things. The amount of data that's out there in the world today is growing exponentially. So 99% of all the data recorded in human history was developed in the last 10 years. Think about that for a second. 99% in the last 10 years. 90% of the data was developed in the last 2 years. So it's growing faster and faster. And you think about it, it's not your father's big data. It's not, spreadsheets and numbers. We're talking about, how many of you guys have a mobile device? How many of you have more than one cell phone? How many of you have a tablet? How many of you have a laptop or computer? Okay. But anyway, we've got all of these devices and technology that are accumulating data. You think about your data plans with your cell phone carriers. That's just the tip of the iceberg. When you start, that's just on the consumer and our personal side. When you start talking about the amounts of data that companies are collecting now, just because the capabilities are there that weren't there before, this trend is going to continue to increase. Another statistic for you. The total amount of data that's collected is expected to double every 2 years. And that figure just came out this year. So you think about how fast we're growing right now, and more things are coming out to collect data, that's going to continue to grow. All right, so we've talked about all the trends and the things that are driving more companies to go to these systems to help them manage the data. They're going to systems to help them manage their supplier relationships and the information from their suppliers. One of the ways that they're doing that is with these procurement platforms using punch-out catalogs to manage the products that their end users are buying. So we're going to talk a little bit about what is a punch-out catalog and why you need one. If you don't have one, hopefully what I say today will encourage you to consider gaining those capabilities. A punch-out is simply a software application that helps sellers or helps large companies directly connect to your website or your ordering system. And they are able to do that from their procurement platform. So an end user is sitting at their computer in their company. They go online through their e-procurement system, like the Arebas or the EBAs. When they go in that system, they select a link that takes them to a punch-out catalog. So a lot of times they're grouped by category. So they may have, all of the technology items together, or whatever, and then they have the approved suppliers listed underneath, and you just click on that link and it takes you into that supplier's ordering website. So while they're in that ordering website, they call that a punch out. So they're punching you into the supplier's website to order. You shop, you add all the items to your cart. Now all the while that you're in the supplier's website, the procurement platform still sees you, so you're still connected. And when you finish adding all the items to your cart, it punches you back into the procurement platform to do the settlement, to do the if there's a workflows or approval processes or things like that, and to actually get the requisition completed. And then the order is confirmed and you fill the order or whatever it is that you're doing.